Alright, what's up, young dudes? It's time to get some help on your Riz. I'm going to teach you the top 10 red flags to look for if you're dating somebody and what those red flags might signify. First of all, if she has a red flag, that's a red flag because a red flag symbolizes that she might be a Marxist, socialist, communist, and she supports the movement of the twerkers of the world to unite. You don't want none of that. Let's get into it. Point number 1, red flag. By the way, I want to tell you that any one of these might not on its own be a deal breaker, but the more that these start racking up, then you're in the danger zone. So let's talk about number 1, which is if she looks like a high school desk, meaning that she has more tattoos than the detention room stank desk, then you probably want to stay away because that means that she's met a lot of men. Now, not every woman that has a lot of tattoos, that's not the point. The point is that this is just one sign of perhaps too wild of a life. Next, red flag number 2, if they seem to be really after things, especially objects, presents, gifts on a first or second date. There was a clip going around, a viral clip of this girl talking about how she was using dates to extract gifts for time spent. I think that's called escort service, but this is a red flag because it should be obvious that she's not interested in you. She's interested in getting that upgrade. She's interested in going to the next level, and you're just a rung on the ladder. Now, it's not bad that a girl is interested in your status and your life, because if she's going to be married to you or be with you, then she's going to want a person who can provide. So I don't think that it's necessarily a red flag that a girl is interested in what you do and how much money you make, because it's like a guy being interested in whether she eats healthy and exercises and takes care of herself, right? So sort of an inverse there between guys and girls, what they both look for and find valuable. I think guys tend to like looks more than girls, although that's not to say that girls don't care about or value looks. It's rather a maybe higher on the scale, that a woman is more interested in what you can provide in terms of future sustenance and so forth. But you also have to, I think, look for virtues, feminine virtues. No, don't be, if she's a tiger queen, if she's a slay queen, if she's a boss bitch, that is a bad sign. She's probably going to fight you at every point. She's going to think that she has the upper hand. She's going to think that she's more intelligent, more capable than you are. And that's an obvious red flag right away if she seems to be looking for an angle or looking for some sort of upper hand against you at every point. And usually you can detect these kinds of things pretty quickly on a first or second date. You can tell if she's headstrong, if she's trying to correct you on things that don't matter, right? Red flag number 3. How does she relate to her dad? If she has a good dad relationship, then there's probably a good chance that she's got some good qualities. Most of the time, I would guess, when there's something significantly off, it's because she has a bad relationship with her father. Her father failed to be a father, failed to be a man, whatever. And maybe let her run wild, let her do whatever she wanted, gave her whatever she wanted, didn't set any boundaries. And so you're going to have to set boundaries and demonstrate that you set boundaries. And I would say this with anybody that you're dating. Know that you have limits. Your time is valuable. You're not at her disposal. You have other things going. And that demonstrates that she's not your number one priority. No woman finds it attractive if you put her as your number one priority. It's simpy, it's weak, it's beta, it's puppy doggy. So you don't want to be in that situation where you're signifying that from the outset, because as soon as she detects that weakness, you're going to become a means of, again, her getting something or disposing of you, or putting you immediately in the friend zone because you've demonstrated weakness. Another red flag, I would say, key red flag number 4, would be if she's openly sort of a pagan. I don't mean literally an Odinist neo-pagan, because they might actually have more virtues than the average college party girl pagan. I'm saying in a generic sense of essentially no spirituality, no grounding, no connection to God. And that's not to say that there's not wild, fake people in churches. There certainly are. But if you're looking for somebody who's got stability and you're thinking long term, you got to think about, well, how am I going to raise my kid with somebody who is an atheist, a complete pagan, has no interest in the values and traits that you want to instill in your progeny. And I would say that this is really important, because I've known people in the past who, my friends, for example, who got with girls that didn't have any positive traits in the spirituality side of things in terms of God, Christianity, and they ended up paying the price later down the road when, for example, there was a pregnancy and the woman didn't want it, the guy did, and you can guess what happened. So that's a huge red flag. You want to make sure they have the same worldview, the same values, or else it's a disaster waiting to happen. Remember, like I said, no one will be perfect. There's nobody that's going to have a perfect green check mark all the way down and getting all the multiple choice answers correct. There's going to be some flaw in all people because we're fallen, but you can't let your weenus cloud your judgment when it comes to these issues, because this is your future. It's your life. It's your wealth. It's your progeny. I would say red flag number 5 is single moms. Now, this is not universal. If you're older, you're probably going to have a hard time not finding somebody who has kids or something like that. But if you're a younger guy and you're tempted with the single mom phenomena, I would beware of that, because in many cases she might have become a church woman after being a single mom or something like that, because she's now looking for somebody to help her with the bills and whatnot. But you don't necessarily want to be that dude saddled down with some other person's kid, raising that kid, having to deal with an ex-husband or so forth, a baby daddy. That's a red flag. Again, maybe in some situation there's some anomalous case where it actually works out for you. And like I said, these are not intended to be one deal breaker examples. These are red flags that if they start piling up, now some of these, I think they could be deal breakers. If she's been extremely profligate, you could say, if she's been with a lot of people, that's going to be difficult for her to pair bond with you. If she's had coitus with a whole bunch of dudes. So I would say that's definitely a deal breaker. But other things, that maybe she doesn't have a good relationship with her dad, that might not necessarily be a total deal breaker, because everybody has, like I said, difficult situations. Number 6, red flag number 6 would be if she's over there texting dudes while she's with you. That's either a poop test, or she is not interested in you and this is a disaster waiting to happen and you're going to get used. If she's not giving you the attention and spending her time talking to you, she's not into you, and you might as well just move on. In fact, it would be a show, I think, of self-respect for you to go ahead and move towards ending the date or the interactions if she's disrespected you by sitting there and texting some other dude. Think about it. No woman would stand for you texting some other girl while you're out hanging out or whatever it is you're doing a date, especially. I think it's just a sign of disrespect. So if she's going to disrespect you that early on, she's probably not going to respect you later on. I would say the next one, if she's a partier, if she goes out a lot, she's got a lot of guy friends, she parties a lot, she's got all this crowd of yapping wine mom friends that she hangs out with, or college wine girl friends, whatever. Beware of that, because you're not really going to be just dating her or getting in a relationship with her, you're also in a relationship, unfortunately, with all of her friends and family, because they will be influencing her and telling her this, that, and the other thing, and probably why you're no good. But the most important relationship is, of course, the immediate family parental situation, a relationship to her dad and her mom and her relatives. And then what types of people she hangs out with. Is she partying all the time and so forth? Again, partying sometimes, everybody's going to do that, but like excessive partying, I think, is huge red flag. And that leads to red flag number 8, which is the usage of pills. In my time being single and dating for many, many years before I was with Jamie, there were a lot of girls who had serious pill problems. It was a recurring thing where it didn't matter whether I met a girl in a big city, a small town, they were pill heads, and it was a serious problem. In fact, a couple of them ended up in rehab, and they later apologized for crazy things that they had done. It's just wild stuff, but those are red flags, and you want to stay away from that. And I've learned that the hard way. And the same goes for too much drinking as well, right? It's not just is she on this or that SSRI, or is she taking too many whatever. Is she hopped up on goofballs? Is she maxed out on slimy jammies? Is she snorting gobby wafers? I mean, whatever she's into, stay away from them, because that's not a good sign. Stay away from her, is what I mean. People that are addicted to various substances and alcohol too, I mean, they're usually not in control. So something else is controlling their life and kind of running the show. But again, that's not a one size fits all. Like going out sometimes, having celebratory events every now and then, not a big deal. I would also say the next big red flag, this is what, 8? Around 8 or 9, I forget. 8, I think. Psycho test. Does she have psycho traits? Is she managing a hedge fund and demanding that you send certified mail from a known doctor about your sexual history? I actually had a Tiger Queen Asian girl I dated one time who demanded that I send by certified mail a doctor's analysis of my privy member to see if I didn't have any STDs. I thought that was really odd after like 2 or 3 dates, but that to me is a sign of something kind of overboard. This person also said that they had made entire flowcharts like on QuickBooks of ex-boyfriends and the pros and the cons, and she had like some kind of algorithm figured out. Like that's crazy. Now all women are going to have some degree of kind of erratic crazy, but there's some kind of line, and you're going to have to determine what the line is, what Obama's red line is for you in terms of what's over the line. The next one I would say is kind of sums up a lot of the earlier ones, and this is 9 and 10. You can put them together. I've already lost track of what numbers I'm on, but self-control and social media. If she has no self-control, and that could apply to the domains of spending all of her money, blowing money, debt, going massively into debt, being in debt. You might be, for example, the unlucky dupe who she chooses to help her out of her debt, for example. If you are noticing her spending exorbitant amounts of time on Instagram and TikTok, these are red flags. And as I said, no self-control in any of these areas of life. Not just is she drinking too much or whatever, but no self-control in anything. Like I said, money, career, job. It would be a good thing if she wants to be a mom, right? So if she wants to be a career woman, that's going to be a difficult one, because a lot of women nowadays do want to be career women. And if your expectations are that you want to date or see somebody who's not working, that's going to severely limit your options. But if you can get in a position where she doesn't have to, she might be willing to do that down the road, unless she's committed to getting her law degree or something like that. I've dated girls that were committed lawyers and all this, and that was just wasn't going to work for me. So those are red flags, I would say, that if they start stacking up 2, 3 of them, is pretty much a no-go. Remember, Choq.com, CHOQ.com, the best in supplementation. If you want to support my site and my work, head on over to Choq.com and use the promo code JAY40 to get 40% off all those excellent products like the Tomcat Ali, the Tomcat 100, proven to boost testosterone. This is workout adjacent. This is not PP pills. I'm not going to push anything like that. This is something that I think you would benefit from. And if you want to get a recurring subscription at those great products, in the show description here, in the video description, Choq.com, use the promo code JAY40 to get 40% off, or JAY44LIFE, that's JAY44LIFE, to get 44% off all those great products. And like, share, comment, tell me below in the comments what other red flags you see.